Naruto? Naruto, we need to go. Tsunade-sama is calling for us. Came the voice of Naruto's pink-haired teammate, Sakura. Sakura was given a summons for a mission that Naruto was to be the leader of, yet he was busy messing around in Training Ground 22. Messing around with a kid in a spar. One moment, Sakura-chan. I want to see what he can do, said Naruto as he blocked a punch with his palm. The person punching Naruto smiled at him as he dispelled in a poof of smoke to reveal the same person. A spiky, brown-haired 13-year-old, standing several feet away. Kage Bunshin, shadow clone? When did you finally learn that? A while ago, about a year to be exact, said the ninja as he ran through 4 hand seals ending with the tiger seal. And I also learned this. Katan, Heizukisho, fire style, ash pile burning. The brown-haired kid spewed out an enormous cloud of ash that immediately consumed Naruto. Once it surrounded Naruto, the ninja clicked a piece of flint on his teeth to ignite the entire ash cloud in a fiery explosion. Yes, I got him, shouted the young ninja as he moved the scarf he was wearing away from his Chunin vest. The young teen was wearing the standard outfit of Konoha, except with black instead of blue, just like his hero, idol, and rival Naruto. He also added a red scarf with the kanji for monkey written down the length of it. This was none other than Sarutobi Konohamaru, recently promoted Chunin of the Leaf. Konohamaru had grown up well. Due to his private tutoring with Ebisu with his 2 teammates Moegi and Udon, Konohamaru became a genin at the age of 12 and 1 year later, won the Chunin exams in Kumo. This granted him a promotion to Chunin for his skills. Like all members of the Sarutobi clan, Konohamaru was skilled in fire manipulation and taijutsu. And of course, just like his grandfather, he was a budding bojutsu, staff technique, user. As if, I knew that wouldn't be enough to get you, said Konohamaru before biting his thumb and slamming it on the ground.
Kuchiyose no jutsu, summoning technique, punto.
A poof of smoke later and a monkey as tall as the 5'7" Konohamaru appeared. Konohamaru, what's up, man? Need something? Came the surprisingly deep voice of what appeared to be a teenage ape. Hey Yomna, can you transform for me? I need to kick my rival's ass, said Konohamaru as his summon nodded his head. Henge, transform. Yomna poofed into a large staff with a red shaft and gold tips. Konohamaru snagged the adamantine staff right before slamming it down into the ground. A few seconds later, Naruto came flying out of the ground a few feet away, barely avoiding the end of the staff as it elongated and flew past his head. Naruto smiled slightly as he landed on the ground and Konohamaru retracted his staff back to its normal size. What do you think, Naruto-senpai? Pretty good? Questioned Konohamaru with a smirk as Naruto nodded his head. You're getting there. I'll have to ask Bie-chan, but you do seem like you're Umbu material. However, still not good enough to beat me? Said Naruto as he placed his hands in the snake seal. Mokutan, Mokusatsu Shibari no Jutsu, with style. Smothering binding technique. Thought Naruto as a branch flew out of his palm directly at Konohamaru before diverging into a web of branches. Oh shit, said Konohamaru as he smashed the first couple of branches with his staff, but couldn't stop all of them. Eventually, Konohamaru was left tightly snagged in the branches as his staff dispelled itself in a poof of smoke. No, so close. I'll find a way to get past your Mokutan. Just you wait, boss. Boss. Konohamaru looked around to realize that he was all alone in the clearing. Boss, you got to let me down. I can't get out of this thing, cried Konohamaru as he struggled to get out of the branches. Hokage's tower. Tenchi Bridge? Questioned Naruto as he finished reading the mission scroll given to him by Tsunade. Orochimaru will be there? Along with Sasuke probably? At the name Sasuke, Naruto noticed Sakura's body gave an involuntary twitch. At least she didn't get somber about it anymore. Or maybe she already sort of knew what was going on. Did Bie-chan already tell her? I mean, she's pretty high up being an assistant of the Hokage. Maybe she already knows. Thought Naruto before focusing back on what Tsunade had to say about the mission at hand. Yes, Naruto. We received intel that Sasori was supposed to meet up with a spy of Orochimaru's, but that was actually a way for Orochimaru to take out the dead Suna nuke Nin. said Tsunade. That's why we're sending you. Since you were the one to meet Sasori and actually hear him speak and see what he looked like, you can transform into him so you can take out his spy and Orochimaru, while also trying to find out a lead on Sasuke. What happens if we find Sasuke-kun? Tsunade Shirshio? Questioned Sakura as Tsunade shifted her brown eyes to her pink-haired student. Well, Sasuke is considered an A-rank nuke nin unofficially, so you will handle it like any other A-rank nuke nin, capture him if possible. But if not, put him down. Bring him back, either dead or alive, said Tsunade with a stern voice as Sakura's face never changed. That's good, Sakura. Glad you're not too depressed about it still. Great, well, if that's that, then you two are good to go. I would send some more people, but I feel like you two will be enough for what could happen, and if necessary, you can always flee faster with just 2 people. Make haste as we only have 2 days left before our window of opportunity is up, and one more thing, be careful, said Tsunade as Naruto nodded his head. Sakura disappeared in a cherry blossom swirl, and Naruto was about to follow before deciding to make a request. Actually, Bie-chan, Konohamaru has hopes of joining Umbu. Maybe I could take him along with me on this mission despite you only wanting 2 people to go. I've gone against him, he seems like he could handle himself in a fight and that he knows what to do and how to do it. But I'd like to see him on a real mission before I give him my recommendation. Is that fine? Asked Naruto as Tsunade thought over it for a second. His performance in the last Chunin exams was pretty good. Hell, he even won. Why not let the kid go along? But be sure to not let him hold you back. I'd like to see that this mission gets completed, said Tsunade as Naruto nodded his head again before vanishing in a flicker of movement. Training Ground 22. How the hell am I supposed to get out of here? Shouted Konohamaru loudly as he was still stuck in Naruto's jutsu. Right as Konohamaru was prepared to give up, he heard 2 footsteps land behind him, followed by a palm being placed onto the ground. The wooden branches tangled snugly around Konohamaru receded into the ground as Konohamaru was released and landed on his feet. Hey, Konohamaru, I want you to go on a mission with me. You okay with that? Questioned Naruto as Konohamaru turned around abruptly with a big grin. Of course I am, boss. This would be our first mission together, shouted Konohamaru with enthusiasm at the prospect of going on a mission with Naruto. What are we doing? I'll brief you at the North Gate in 30 minutes. Don't be late, said Naruto before disappearing in a simple flicker. Konohamaru stared dumbfounded at the speed of Naruto. That Shunshin was so fast. It's like he was never there, said Konohamaru before placing a hand in a half-ram seal. I need to get mine that fast. Konohamaru then disappeared in a swirl of leaves as he headed off to get ready for the mission at hand. 2 days later, Tenchi Bridge. Just so you remember, this is an A-rank mission, said Naruto to his teammates after landing in a clearing near the Tenchi Bridge. Our mission parameters are to ambush Orochimaru when he attempts to ambush Sasori. If possible, we are to capture him, and if not, we will kill the target. The same goes for his spy. Naruto's teammates nodded their heads at the mission, though Konohamaru's hands were trembling slightly. Orochimaru. He killed Gigi. I could care less about capturing him. If I see him, I'll finish him off no matter Konohamaru. Came the voice of Naruto, stopping Konohamaru from his thoughts. I know how you feel. Gigi was precious to me as well. But if you let your emotions take control, then you will surely fail. Emotions are only helpful if they are controlled and concentrated. It's the same concept as a Rasengan. If you don't maintain the sphere correctly, the power will disperse over a wider area, significantly weakening the jutsu. But if you contain it, that's when you're able to do some damage. Konohamaru looked at Naruto with stars in his eyes as Sakura scoffed. What kind of lesson was that? It made sense, but he definitely could have found a better example. Or at least said it better. Thought Sakura. Naruto then placed his hands in the snake seal. Mokutan Henge, with element transformation. Thought Naruto as the ground underneath him burst open with branches that surrounded him along with a smoke cloud. Once the smoke cloud died down, it revealed Naruto transformed perfectly into a copy of Sasori's puppet. How do I look? Came the gravelly voice of the disguised Naruto as he attempted to imitate Sasori's voice. Sakura mulled over it for a second before nodding her head. How the hell are we supposed to know? You were the only one of us who saw him like that, said Sakura with a tick mark as Konohamaru laughed slightly. Naruto laughed sheepishly. Right. Anyway, I will go out and meet this spy. After getting information out of him, I will attempt to capture him. Unless Orochimaru appears before I get the chance to. In that instance, I may or may not signal you two to come out and help. Even though I'm sure I could take Orochimaru, I'm not sure how powerful his subordinate could be. So be ready on my signal and only on my signal. Got it, Konohamaru? Hi boss. I won't let you down, said Konohamaru as Naruto nodded his head. Alrighty then. It's time to disperse, said Naruto as the three shinobi of the leaf jumped to their different spots. Konohamaru and Sakura landed together in the forest overlooking the bridge, while Naruto landed on a trail headed toward the bridge. Once he landed, he began to move toward the meeting place that was situated in the center of the Tenchi Bridge. With this strong breeze going right now, we should be able to move closer and still avoid detection, said Sakura before moving closer to get a better view of the bridge. This should do. Konohamaru followed her as he looked out to see a cloaked figure approaching Naruto on the bridge. There goes the spy. I hope this goes well and we get to see Orochimaru. I can't wait to get a crack him, said Konohamaru, clenching his fist as Naruto made contact with the spy on the bridge. It's good to see you again, Sasori-sama, said the spy before removing his hood to reveal ash-gray hair and round glasses. That combination was only prevalent on one known associate of Orochimaru's, Yakushi Kabuto. Oh, this is better than just getting Orochimaru, thought Naruto before responding to his spy. Kabuto, were you followed? Questioned Sasori, as Kabuto looked behind him for a second. Kabuto turned back around to face him before answering. No, we're fine. How are you holding up? Kabuto exhaled a breath before pushing his glasses back. I still feel a bit shaken from when your technique was released, and I remembered who I really was. My mind is a bit clouded as well, said Kabuto. I have questions for you. Tell me about his hideouts, and of that Uchiha boy. Kabuto nodded his head as he relayed all the information he had on those two subjects. Back in the forest, Kabuto's the spy? Said a shocked Sakura at the revelation of Kabuto being the spy. I mean, out of all the people, Kabuto would be the last person I'd expect. Especially considering he's Orochimaru's right-hand man. Man, that Sasori guy who planted Kabuto must be amazing to get a spy that close to him. Orochimaru is no pushover, and I wouldn't think that he'd be able to get duped like that. But since the spy is here, we should be starting soon, said Konohamaru, who was decked out in umbu gear. In his hand was a white porcelain mask with red paint covering it that depicted a monkey's face. As Konohamaru placed the mask on, Sakura let out a small smile. Trying to join umbu, huh? Questioned Sakura as Konohamaru nodded his head. I remember when both of my teammates did the same. You're not just doing this because Naruto did it, are you? Konohamaru shook his head as he turned to face Sakura. No, but I guess in a way my decision is influenced by boss. I plan to join umbu, get really good, and once boss becomes the Hokage, he'll make me his right-hand man, umbu commander. This means that eventually, I'll become Hokage once he gives up the hat to me. What makes you so sure that Naruto's going to become Hokage? I mean, it's not set in stone. Maybe he started Sakura before realizing what she was saying and seeing Konohamaru's porcelain mask stare. Never mind. Of course, he'll be Hokage. Whenever Shursho decides. I don't know what I was saying, finished Sakura as she noticed movement on the bridge. Boss! Shouted Konohamaru, preparing to jump into action at any time once the signal was given. On the bridge. If you hadn't pulled out that kunai, Sasori-sama, I wouldn't have been able to dodge in time. Came the voice of Kabuto, standing next to Sasori, as they opposed a fearsome foe. Just the man I was looking for. Guess we can have a little bit of fun before I call over Sakura and Konohamaru. Thought Naruto before he prepared to attack the Sannin before him. Kukukuku, Sasori. That outfit reminds me of the old days. Came the sinister voice of Orochimaru as he stared down at his former partner. Hope you don't mind if I intrude on this interesting conversation. Orochimaru, I see you followed Kabuto, said Sasori, next to Kabuto as Orochimaru laughed once again. Good eye, Captain Obvious. No need to be rude. I just thought I'd come and thank you, old friend. That is all, said Orochimaru as Kabuto's hand glowed a bright blue color. Kabuto then raised his hand before bringing it down quickly into the body of Sasori. Seems he was in on it all along, thought Naruto, leaping out of the destroyed wooden puppet with a cut on his right shoulder. Orochimaru then immediately went on the offensive at the airborne enemy. Sanaijishu, hidden shadow snake hands, said Orochimaru before thrusting his arm forward. Out of his sleeve, several snakes came out of it at a blistering pace set directly at Naruto. The snakes wrapped themselves around Naruto before biting at him. Though once the first bite occurred, Naruto turned into a wooden replica of himself. It seems trouble has appeared, said Orochimaru as the wooden Naruto landed on the ground, and the real Naruto came up from the bridge floor. I didn't expect to see you here, Naruto-kun. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't expecting you here, Orochimaru. And it's so good to see you again, Kabuto, said Naruto, who was wearing his own Umbu outfit sans mask. Though I did expect this ambush to be a little better. I mean, really, having just Kabuto attempt to slice open Sasori, followed by that weak snake jutsu. I give it a C- at best. Kabuto pushed his glasses up with a smirk as he looked at Naruto.
I'm impressed, Naruto-kun.
For you to be here, especially disguised as Sasori, would mean that you've met Sasori and somehow got him to tell you about this meeting, as he and I were the only two who knew of it. But Sasori isn't the type of man to divulge that type of information regularly, so that would mean you either bested him in battle and he told you, or maybe someone in our own organization told Konoha. But the latter should be impossible, as only myself and Orochimaru knew of this meeting. Deduced Kabuto acutely as Naruto shrugged. Orochimaru then grinned as he took notice of something. Why don't you bring out those other two pests that are hiding? Said Orochimaru with a smug grin. Naruto looked for a second before pointing his finger in a gun-like fashion at Orochimaru. Not a second later, Sakura and the Saru monkey masked Konohamaru came lunging out of the woods and directly on the bridge between the two opposing parties. Sakura-chan, do you mind handling Kabuto? I'm sure Saru would like to join me in facing Orochimaru, said Naruto, to which Sakura nodded her head with ease. Of course. I heard about Kabuto's encounter with Tsunade-sama those years back. And he thinks that fluke of a victory is worth something, said Sakura, cracking her knuckles. Reminiscent of Tsunade. I guess I need to show him that slugs are better than snakes. Kabuto's hands glowed a bright blue as his smirk never left. What makes you think I'd let that plan work? As if I'd let that plan go through without a fight. You'll have to forcefully remove me from Orochimaru's Sid Dash, started Kabuto before he felt a presence appear between him and Orochimaru. The familiar swirl sound of a Rasengan sounded off before it planted itself neatly into Kabuto's back, sending him flying past Konohamaru and Sakura into the woods. Naruto then turned to face Orochimaru as Saru landed beside him. Let's do this, shall we? Said Naruto as Orochimaru grinned and took off into the opposite side of the woods. Saru took off immediately after him as Naruto followed behind the Sannin and teenage Umbu. As this was happening, Sakura stood stock on the bridge alone. Well, I guess I'll go see if Kabuto is still alive, said Sakura as she walked back into the forest to find Kabuto, who was surely hurt by the Rasengan from earlier. With Naruto and Saru, who is this kid? Thought Orochimaru as he dodged a flurry of punches and kicks from the young Umbu with practiced ease. Brown hair is common in the Leaf Village, but this fighting style kinda reminds me of Sensei and that Asuma kid. Is this boy Sensei's grandson? Orochimaru continued to dodge the punches with snake-like agility before lashing out with a kick of his own. As the kick connected, the Umbu disappeared in a poof of smoke. Kage Bunshin, shadow clone. This kid is good, thought Orochimaru as he felt a presence appear behind him. Saru landed on the branch of a tree behind Orochimaru as he ran through 7 hand seals. Ram, horse, snake, dragon, rat, ox, tiger, thought Saru as he flew through the seals for his technique. Katan, Karyu Enden, fire style, fire dragon bullet. 3 steams of fire flew from Saru's mouth. one directly at Orochimaru and the other two at a 45-degree angle toward Orochimaru. The head of the fire streams turned into large dragon heads as they converged on Orochimaru. All three fire dragons converged on Orochimaru at the same time as he was sent careening toward the forest floor. One thing about Saru's jutsu was the heads of the dragons each held an explosive note. A powerful explosive note, and once Orochimaru hit the forest floor, they detonated in an enormous explosion that leveled a massive chunk of the surrounding area in a large dome of fire. Naruto landed beside Saru before whistling at the display. "That was pretty nice," said Naruto, patting Saru on the back. "Though next time you should really take notice of when you're battling a clone." The fire died down as Orochimaru rose from the soot-covered ground, unharmed from Saru's previous jutsu. Kukukuku. Seems Konoha has another promising ninja in its ranks. "A Sarutobi, it would seem," said Orochimaru in a calm voice, displaying no fear in the face of Naruto and the impressive but non-worrisome Umbu beside him. "Though if that's your best, you'd never be able to kill me, let alone get Sasuke-kun back. Whoever said we wanted Sasuke back? We're just here to capture or kill you and Kabuto, that was the mission. Finding Sasuke would be just a bonus," said Naruto as he landed in the destroyed area in front of Orochimaru. Saru landed next to Naruto as Orochimaru laughed again at Naruto's statement. "Kill me? I'd like to see you try, Naruto-kun," said Orochimaru mockingly before laying flat on the ground and opening his mouth sickeningly wide for his next jutsu. "Mandara no Jin, formation of 10,000 snakes," said Orochimaru as hundreds, thousands of snakes poured from his mouth at an alarmingly fast rate at the two Konoha nin. Halfway to the two, blades began to protrude from the mouths of the snakes as they pointed them directly at Naruto and Saru. "What an impressive amount of snakes," thought Naruto before slamming a palm onto the ground. Mokutan Kuchios, Hori Nikishoku Butsu, would release summoning, burrowing carnivorous Buddha. The ground rumbled in front of Naruto as the snakes approached. Right before reaching him, though, the ground opened up to reveal an enormous plant that took the shape of a Venus flytrap with 4 sides, which proceeded to gobble down the approaching snakes with one bite. Though it managed to eat all the snakes, the swords that came out of the mouths of the snakes were poisonous, and as such, the plant creature began to feel the effects of the poison immediately, prompting it to dispel a few seconds later. "Why not just blow him away and be done with it, Naruto?" came the voice of Naruto's partner, Kurama. "I grow bored of seeing this snake. Yo, Kurama, I feel you on that. How do you think I should do it?" questioned Naruto back to his partner before feeling Kurama's chakra flood his system. "Of course you want me to just blast him away with pure power. Well, if you're okay with it, I'm okay with it." A vibrant orange chakra shroud surrounded Naruto as 4 tails appeared swaying behind him. "Stand back, Saru. I don't want you to get caught in the crosshairs of this," said Naruto before going back to his internal partner. "You want to do this?" "Don't mind if I do," said the now Kurama-controlled Naruto, whose eyes were now red and slit due to Kurama's control over his body. Kurama placed his hands in the tiger seal. Katan, Kitsune Baimu, Fire Style, Fox Beam. Orochimaru noticed the chakra buildup from Naruto and decided to act accordingly. After biting both of his thumbs, Orochimaru slammed them both onto the ground. "Kuchios, Sunju Rashomon, summoning, Triple Rashomon," said Orochimaru as 3 large demonic gates rose from the ground in front of him. A second after rising, the gate was struck by the powerful beam from Naruto. Once the beam hit the gate, it expanded to carve a massive hole through it. After going through the first gate, the beam continued to go through the rest of the gates before exploding once past the last gate. The explosion blew the last gate out of the ground as the area behind it was shrouded in a huge explosion of energy. Once the explosion died down, Naruto regained control of his body as he looked at the blast zone. The bottom half of Orochimaru's body was stuck protruding out of the ground comically as the top half of his body was gone. "Why do I feel he's not done?" questioned Naruto. Naruto was proven correct when a sword came flying out of the ground at him from the mouth of Orochimaru's head that followed it. Luckily, Naruto was fast enough to sidestep the blade before holding a palm directly in front of Orochimaru's approaching head. A Rasengan appeared in Naruto's hand in a split second as Orochimaru crashed directly into it, blasting his head clean off. Naruto and Sara waited for a few seconds as they realized that Orochimaru hadn't moved yet. A minute later, Saru took off his mask to reveal his young Sarutobi face. I guess he's done. That's the end of Orochimaru, said Konohamaru as Naruto nodded his head. Let's go check on Sakura. While Konohamaru took off, Naruto stood staring for a few more seconds before eventually deciding to follow Konohamaru back. Once Konohamaru and Naruto were gone, the bottom half of Orochimaru ripped open to reveal another Orochimaru. Kukukuku. Seems that boy has gotten powerful. But once I absorb Sasuke-kun, no one will be able to stand up to me, said Orochimaru as he turned to leave. Sorry, Kabuto, but I guess your services are no longer necessary. Maybe if you're still alive, I'll come and get you. If not, Orochimaru then disappeared in a shunshin as he left the area. The next day, we may not have gotten Orochimaru, said Naruto, walking beside Konohamaru and Sakura. Naruto then looked at the tied-up and sedated Kabuto on top of the slug Sakura summoned. But at least we got the next best thing. And we killed Orochimaru too. Don't forget that, said Konohamaru as Naruto nodded his head. Konohamaru went to pat Naruto on the back but Naruto dodged it. What's wrong, boss? You all right? I'm fine, Konohamaru. Don't even worry about it, said Naruto before Sakura realized something weird about the Naruto before her. Naruto, said Sakura in a sweet tone. You wouldn't happen to be a clone. A clone that's taking the place of the original just so he can go to Kumogakure to see Yujito, are you? Naruto put up placating hands before blowing out a sigh. Do you want the truth or a Lee dash? Started Naruto before getting decked by a punch from the irate pink-haired Kunoichi. Naruto, shouted Sakura angrily as Konohamaru had to cover his ears at her shrieking. Same time, just outside of Kumo, scouting mission? Questioned Naruto walking beside the pretty blonde Jinchuriki of the two-tailed monster cat. Yujito ni. What's so special about this place? Yes, a scouting mission, Naruto-kun. Just because I'm a Jinchuriki doesn't mean I don't have to go on scouting missions. I'm one of the best at it and I actually like scouting missions, said Yujito turning her head to look at her boyfriend. Plus this is the site where several of our shinobi have gone missing at. So Reikage-sama wants me to check it out. Naruto groaned a little, letting his shoulders slump. This is going to be boring, said Naruto before feeling a hand lay on his cheek. I know you were expecting to just have a great couple of days with me, but don't worry. Once this mission is up, I promise I'm all yours after when this is all over, said Yujito as Naruto perked up slightly. Yujito then deeply kissed the Kyuubi Jinchuriki, sending him blissfully to the ground once she released it. Now you just rest here and I'll be back in an hour or so. Yes, ma'am, said Naruto with his eyes closed as Yujito turned around to continue walking. Hey, Yugi-chan. Yujito was about 20 feet from Naruto when she stopped hearing Naruto call for her. Yes, Naruto-kun, said Yujito turning back around to see Naruto, now standing in front of her with a smile on his face. I love you, said Naruto, deeply kissing Yujito before moving his head back. Be careful. Yujito smiled back at Naruto, internally giddy at Naruto's words. I love you too, Naruto-kun, said Yujito as Naruto was now laying back down in the spot he was in before, 20 feet away from her. Yujito turned back around as she continued to go and begin her mission. Happier this time. A little over an hour passed as Naruto sat up into a lotus position. I wonder how strong my sensing ability is when using Sage Mode. Yugi-chan has got to be several miles away, but I should still be able to reach her, especially considering she'll be walking back, thought Naruto. That Sage Mode of yours might make it to her. But are you really going to use that power just to spy on your mate's chakra signature? Said Kurama in Naruto's head. Naruto looked sheepish at being caught like that. You can't tell me that you wouldn't do the same? Questioned Naruto back to his partner. I'm a being of pure chakra, given form. I don't have the same weird thoughts as you, if I do even have thoughts for that matter. Outside of your body, I'm considered to be just a rampaging beast that destroys everything in my path. So, I guess I wouldn't do the same as you. I might. I have no clue what to think if I do think at all. Damn, that's dark. I think you have thoughts, Kurama. Just because you're a chakra construct doesn't mean you don't have thoughts and all that. You're one of the wisest beings I know, person, animal, or chakra construct. There's no way you don't have thoughts, replied Naruto back to Kurama. I hope you're not believing what some shinobi said to you in the past. Forget him, you're Kurama of the Leaf and my partner, along with my oldest friend. Plus, I know you want to find out how strong this is anyway. You're right, I do. Fire that sage mode up, said Kurama with a grin at Naruto's words. And friend. As if I'd want to be friends with you? Wait, am I thinking right now? Thought Kurama while Naruto smiled and nodded. Naruto then placed his hands on his knees before closing his eyes for a second. The trademark red markings of his sage mode began to appear on his face before he opened his eyes to reveal his golden sage eyes. Great, now to find Yugi-chan, said Naruto as he began to scan the surrounding area for his girlfriend. Maybe I'll surprise her when I find her. Continuing his scan of the area, Naruto couldn't locate Yujito's chakra signature. That's odd. You have to have covered this entire area. So where is she? Questioned Kurama as Naruto couldn't answer him. Well, let's go find her then. You never know. Maybe something bad happened. Naruto stood up before rocketing off the ground in a powerful leap. Naruto came down in the center of the town that Yujito was searching in. Upon landing, Naruto closed his eyes to focus more on his sensing ability. After a few seconds, Naruto panicked slightly when he felt Yujito's chakra signature nearly a mile away, surrounded by 2 other chakra signatures. Akatsuki travels in pairs, said Kurama as Naruto's eyes widened before he took off in a series of shunshins to where he could feel Yujito's chakra. Naruto appeared outside of a sewer-like area that was closed off due to a ton of rocks. Someone must have blocked off the exits in hopes of keeping the battle closed, said Naruto before creating an enormous Rasengan in his hand. Senpo, Otama Rasengan, Sage Art, Big Ball Rasengan, said Naruto before smashing the Rasengan into the side of the sewer, destroying an entire section of the sewer as he walked in with pieces of rocks falling on top of him. Who the fuck are you? Came the loud voice of a man with slicked-back silver hair. He carried a large triple-bladed scythe and had on a burned and singed Akatsuki cloak. You're ruining the ceremony I'm trying to accomplish here.
Hidan, calm down.
That's the Kyuubi Jinchuriki. Came the voice of another man, donning a perfectly conditioned Akatsuki cloak and mask. The mask obscured his entire face besides his eyes, which were green with red sclerae. He is not one to be trifled with, Naruto-kun. Came the voice of Yujito, cloaked in her blue chakra shroud. I'm glad you came, said Yujito. Naruto performed a shunshin to appear beside Yujito as he checked her for injury. Are you okay? Questioned Naruto, worried about Yujito. Of course I am. I've only been going against the guy with the silver hair, who is actually terrible at fighting. The other one decided not to attack though, so I've just been beating down on this guy, said Yujito, internally happy that Naruto was so worried about her. But he won't die though. No matter how much I hurt him, he just shrugs it off and keeps coming. He even said that he was immortal. Immortal? As in he won't die? Questioned Naruto, intrigued by the immortal comment. Before Yujito could answer though, Hidan decided to answer for her. Yes, I'm immortal. That's what happens when you follow Jashin-sama, said Hidan, placing his scythe over his shoulder as he looked at Naruto. Even you and your powers wouldn't be able to kill me. Is that so? Questioned Naruto as Kurama decided to add his own 2 cents. That guy must really have a death wish. Just because you're immortal doesn't mean you can't be blown to a bunch of tiny little pieces, said Kurama as Naruto internally nodded to Kurama. Hidan, Leader-sama said that we are not to go against the Kyuubi Jinchuriki. While I also feel the same way about his true ability, it would be wiser to not attempt it in the event he can actually kill you. I would love to see him try Kakazu. I'd actually welcome it. Forget the leader's warning. It's clear that whoever puts these teams together knows dynamics. That Deidara guy and Sasori guy seem to be opposites, as well as these two. One's a hothead and the other is calm and collected, said Kurama in Naruto's head. Yeah, he's smart in how many people are in his organization. Having a smaller number of people must make it easier to get stuff done while also minimizing failures. I wonder who this leader is that they speak of, said Naruto in return to his bijou as he placed a hand on the ground. Don't move, Yugi-chan. Shit. Hiden. Run, said Kakazu, taking off down the sewer as a pink substance began to cover the floor. Kuchios. Gamaguchi Shibari. Summoning. Toad mouthbind. Thought Naruto, summoning the esophagus of a fire-breathing toad from MT Mayaboku. Hiden and Kakazu continued to sprint down the sewer as the pink flesh continued to spread out all around them. What is this, Naruto-kun? Questioned Yujiro as she had never seen anything like it before. It won't catch them at the speed they are moving at. We'll have to go and hunt them down, said Naruto before answering Yujiro. And it's a summoning technique that brings forth the esophagus of a toad from Mount Mayaboku. Anyway, we have to catch them. Naruto then took off in a sprint to chase down the Akatsuki members. Okay, we still don't know what the other guy can do, so we need to be careful, said Yujiro following after Naruto. After running for several minutes, Naruto realized that the Akatsuki members were long gone. How did they disappear so fast? That couldn't have been 2 minutes since they left, and there's no way they could run that fast to get away from us, said Yujiro, noticing no trace of the Akatsuki members anywhere. I know. I was picking them up a second ago with my sensing ability and then poof, they disappeared, said Naruto, wondering the same thing. It's like they were summoned or something? A few minutes of investigating later and Yujiro decided to end Naruto's seeking. It's over, Naruto-kun. They came and then they ran. I'm not hurt, nor did they get to me. There's no need in trying to find them. As you said, they were summoned, so there's nothing your sensing ability could do to find them, said Yujiro. Plus, this gives us the chance to start our time together. Naruto's sage mode began to fade as he smiled at Yujiro's words. Yes, piggyback ride? Questioned Naruto before feeling the weight of his girlfriend land on his back and her head lay across his shoulder with her eyes closed. I'll take that as a yes. Sweet dreams, Yugi-chan. Halfway to Kumo, Naruto felt a finger poke his cheek. Turning his head in the direction of the poke, Naruto received a kiss on the lips from a now-awake Yujiro. What was that for? Questioned Naruto as Yujiro smiled. You told me you loved me first, said Yujiro with a small smirk on her face. Naruto's eyes widened in realization as Yujiro's smirk seemed to widen with them. Oh, shouted Naruto as he continued to carry the beautiful Jinchuriki to Kumogakure. In a large tree several miles from Kumogakure, he tried to get us killed by attempting to face down the Jinchuriki, said Kakazu to the leader of the Akatsuki's spectral image. I did allow him to face the Nibi Jinchuriki alone when we may have been able to capture her faster, but even still, with the Kyubi Jinchuriki so close to her, it'll be difficult to get her and even more difficult to keep him from ruining the extraction of her bijou. I'd suggest taking the tailed beasts 3 to 8 before attempting to grab her. Kakazu, what the hell? How are you just going to dash? Started Hiden before being silenced by the authoritative voice of their leader. Quiet down, Hiden. You made the right decision, Kakazu. Luckily, I gave you each a rod that allowed me to summon you out of the area. If not, you may have had to go against that boy, said Akatsuki's leader. We will also follow your suggestion of taking the Nibi last with the Kyubi. Conan and I will handle those two. You two worry about capturing the Gobi at this point. Dismissed. Once the two members of the Akatsuki were gone, a swirl appeared next to the leader. Out of that swirl, a figure came stepping out. That boy is becoming a nuisance. But I knew this would happen considering his relationship with the Jinchuriki, said the figure as the leader nodded his head. Is that power you said you'd have for me ready yet? I'd like to get him out of the way now, said the leader before the figure shook his head. Almost. I'm working out all the details now, but if this works, I believe you'll enjoy 7 pairs of eyes on the battlefield rather than 6, said the figure before the leader widened his eyes in shock. In due time,